Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. This week is our Smith's Diesel Toolbox tour and all the shop equipment and various things that we have here in the shop that allows us to complete a job such as this. Doing a cab off, engine build. It's been about 7 years that I've been procuring and collecting tools. And I'm gonna step down because I feel unsafe, so that's good enough for the intro. But this is my first big box that I ever purchased. And this is just a Snap-on Epic 68 series. I actually bought it used because these things new are outrageous to buy. I don't get how guys buy these brand new off of the truck. The list price on this thing I think is $12,000 or $16,000, and they'll do the Snap-on loan and whatever. You'll end up paying 20 grand for a toolbox as a lube tech, and you're just married to the Snap-on man for your whole career. They say the Snap-on man in prison is like pretty much the same because it's 25 years to life that you're going to be paying them. They'll sometimes do these deals where you buy a box and they say like, okay, you can go ahead, we'll give you 50% off on whatever tools and sockets you want to buy, but they take 50% off a list price. And like this top drawer, you're looking $400, $300, $300, 300, 300, 300, 400, metric standard combo, 600, 600. Like this is just outrageous how rapidly these things go up, and guys don't really need all these Snap-on tools necessarily right out the gate. I started out actually with a 400 piece Craftsman mechanics tool set. We actually just bought one for our new lube tech guy, and it's just like one of these super basic, like this is pretty much what I started with. Oh, he already lost the socket. It's probably a 10 mil. No, it's a 5/16. Who uses standard on fours? Are you stealing 10 mils already? What do you got in your pouch? Kangaroo pouch over there. Oh, okay.
10 mil?
Yeah, a long time ago. Well, it was when I was a teenager working for my dad. I started just with a basic Craftsman set, and I wanted a Snap-on box, so I went and found it was like a vintage Snap-on box that was like something like this, a little bit taller. Didn't have any of the roller bearing drawers. It was like a vintage classic series Snap-on box. Cleaned it up real good, ended up selling it for like twice what I paid for it, and then bought my first. It was a 56-inch Master Series, but the guy that had it was like an industrial lube tech basically. So he worked in like a semi shop, and so he had it all set up for wrenches. So every drawer was this height drawer all the way. It had one big top drawer and then all little drawers all the way to the bottom. And it just wasn't practical because like you get these bigger tools, and like there's a bunch of installer tools and sockets and big wrenches. Like you can't put them in a shallow drawer this big. So I just was running out of space. I wanted an Epic Series 68, this exact box basically. And I think he was like, oh, we can do like $12,000. And I was gonna do it. And my dad was like, that's a lot of money. Let's just try and find a used one. I was like, yeah, that's more reasonable. Big debt to go into for tools when you could realistically, you could just have a US General toolbox and all your good quality tools in a cheaper box. So years ago, a guy stopped by the shop with a trailer behind his truck, like with a bunch of these boxes on the back. We've had people stop by the shop before and they have like a bunch of generators and like random stuff in the back, and we're like, that stuff's gotta be stolen. Because they're selling it so cheap. And I'm just like, where are you getting this stuff? And they don't like have a definitive answer. I was like, you know what? If this guy's still in business, in 2 years, he's probably legit. And so I got his number. It's Jason the Toolbox guy. Epic 68 with power top, $3,900. Definitely interested in the Epic 68. And I like the black and gunmetal. And so that's the one that he ended up bringing it to the shop. Got it for $3,900. And then we bought the hutch from Snap-on. He gave us a good deal on that. I think new they're like $3,600. I think we paid a little over $2 grand. My dad actually bought me this as a gift because I was about to move to New York. And so I just started loading this thing up with tools. Started buying a bunch of Milwaukee stuff. That was when I got on the Milwaukee kick. That's the story on how I got this one. Jason the Toolbox guy, still in business by the way. If you guys need his number, I'll hook you up. This one was also a Facebook Marketplace find. Wanted a nice roll cart. I bought it for $600. And the guy threw this in, this long screwdriver set, wrenches. He threw those in too. So $600 for like almost $3,000 worth of stuff. That's how I got this one. So I had those two. The black and orange ones, I procured this one. This one, believe it or not, I only have $1,000 into this box. Okay, long story short, I had a 2003 F350, might have been an 04, King Ranch, crew cab, long bed, dually, rust-ish free. And the guy, I had it for sale. I got it on trade. A guy messaged me and he was like, hey, kind of an odd, question here. I'm really interested in trading for your truck, but it's kind of a, I see you might do diesel mechanics or something. Would you be interested in trading a fully loaded Snap-on box? Hey, 100%, like I can always use more tools. What kind of tools you got in it? Which really didn't matter because this box alone is worth, I think, $7,000. So he started sending me pictures. He sends me this. And you pop that open and I'm like, dang, that thing is loaded. And I'm like, well, it could all be like Pittsburgh and Snap-on, 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 Matco, Snap-on, or this is Lyle, sorry, Snap-on, Snap-on, no name brand, Snap-on, Matco. Top drawer, probably like $2,000 worth of just sockets, if not more, just in that one drawer. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm sold. Now, some of this stuff I added, but like he had punch sets. These were all in here. Extractor sets, long burst sets. These were mine beforehand. He had these extra large hyper step drill bits, $400. Almost all name brand is what I'm getting at, like 90%. And then he had like some power tool drawers, air tool drawers, fully loaded. Snap-on, Snap-on, Snap-on. This one was mine. This one was mine. Long reach Mac, Snap-on air saw, nice electrical drawer with drill bit set, electrical leads, extra set of back probes. Now some of this, I already had all this stuff. Doesn't hurt to have extras. For some reason, these back probes seem to just disappear. They start as a 20 piece and they end up being a 0 piece after about a year. Good stuff, had a Snap-on impact. These Milwaukee stuff were mine. This drawer was pretty much empty. Full sets of gear wrenches, ratcheting wrenches, fixed and flex head, crescent wrench, snap ring pliers. He had a Milwaukee grease gun, all these welding clamps, extractor set, another probe set. I didn't even know this was in here. That's crazy. Brand new. It's like fully loaded. I'm gonna put this up here. I tell you, they just disappear. Look, there's supposed to be 20 of these in here. We're down to 3. 3 out of 20. Reloaded. Didn't cost me a dime. Yeah, so a bunch of, air chisel sets, grease gun, seal puller, bunch of specialty testing tools. This I added. I don't even know what's in this. Oh, this was mine. See, that's when you got too many tools, is that you don't even know where your own stuff is. This is a thermal imager. They're pretty cool. These things are like $1,400. You can tell how new it looks. I've like hardly ever used this thing, but it basically is an infrared camera. So let's say on a 6.9 IDI or old 12 valve Cummins that you can't hook up a computer to tell which injector is going bad. That you're trying to do an injector misfire diagnostics. You got a dead cylinder. Well, you can use this and actually infrared read the exhaust manifold and see which cylinder is like 400 degrees colder coming out of the exhaust manifold. We don't work on old trucks though, so it's gonna live in that drawer a nice, long, happy life. To finish this story, I kind of got into the stuff in it, how I got the box and how we closed the deal. So he wanted to trade the truck. I told him I'm straight trading. Like, I'm not adding cash. I was like, I know you probably have a lot of money and a lot of value in that box. I'm not gonna be hurt if you say no. He's like, no, I'm all for it. I need a work truck, and it's a used truck. We're doing a trade. I wasn't, there's really no warranty on paper, right? If I sell a truck, I always take care of people. So he loads up the box, borrows a buddy's truck, loads up the box on a trailer, brings it to me, unloads it at the shop, sign over the title, get everything done. Next day, the truck has a misfire and then it dies on him. And I think it was the ICP sensor went bad. And so we fixed the ICP sensor. I didn't charge him anything. We fixed the truck. I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry about that. Mind you, it's a 6-liter, first diesel he's ever had. And he's like, and I've read a bunch online that these are the worst trucks you could buy. And I'm like, oh, this one's been bulletproofed already. It's a solid truck. Like, I really don't see you having any issues. Day one, truck breaks down, stereotypical 6.0. So we take care of it, fix it, back on the road. Week later, starts dumping coolant out of the passenger side, which if you know anything about 6 liters, there's like nothing to leak coolant over there. There's like one coolant hose going to the heater core. He's like, yeah, like every time I park it, let it sit overnight and it dumps like a gallon of coolant in my driveway. And so he drives it down, not leaking a drop. I top it off. We pressure test it while he's standing there watching us. Found one tiny leak from the coolant reservoir. And so I put a brand new coolant reservoir in it for him. And he's like, oh, I swear, man, it's on the passenger side. Eventually we find out it was coming from externally. The head gasket on the passenger side was leaking. That's super rare. I was like, the head gasket wasn't blown itself. It was almost like when someone installed the head, they nicked the head gasket. So we figured we put a new head gasket, new intake manifold gasket, like we'd reseal that whole side, injector O-rings, valve cover gasket, rocker housing, exhaust manifold, that whole side, passenger side, we reseal the whole thing, no charge, and he's good to go. Again, I'm like, man, I'm super sorry about this. I felt like he was probably regretting the decision of selling this thing at that point because he's gonna need these tools to fix his dang 6-liter. After he got it back that time, I sat at his house for a while. Again, he texted me. First thing it was doing, it was like, it would stutter. Like the whole truck would like kind of like, you're driving down the road smooth and it'd be like, bah, blah, blah. Like it was just like something was wrong. Then it was sitting at his house longer and the truck wouldn't even start. Like I was like, I can come grab it with my gooseneck. Like that's no problem at all. He's like, no, that's right. I don't wanna be an inconvenience. I'm like, I felt like I was being more of the inconvenience. I just traded this toolbox for this truck and it's being a problem for you. I want to take care of it, make sure you're happy with the deal. Yeah, let's just say he had a very large family of either mice or squirrels infest his under the hood of his truck and just absolutely chewed his harness to oblivion. I mean, it was just, everything was just completely destroyed. Like the engine harness, Fickum harness, I mean, everything was just completely chewed up. He ended up putting brand new harnesses on it and fixed the truck. I haven't heard from him since, so I'm assuming it's still running good. I hope it is. If you watch this, Toolbox is great. So back to the rest of what's in this box. This one is just miscellaneous snap-on picks and Torx bits that I never use. This was a full hammer drawer, and we kind of harvested the hammers to put some on Jack's cart and I believe David's cart. This is just a snap-on rethread kit, which I now have 2 of because this box had one and I already had one. But I also got this, which is just a tap set, and like any tap set, you got broken taps and extractors and missing taps and extractors, so you just buy a new one every couple of years. Some of your just basic, tools. If you're working in Ohio, working in anywhere near the Rust Belt, you gotta have good quality extractors, shallow and deep Blue Point extractor sets, left-handed drill bits with the extractors that go along with it. Missing one, probably broken by David or Jack. I'm gonna throw them under the bus a lot. Anything that's missing in here, half me, half David, half Jack. And that's 150%. That's guy math. Unopened, locking, because the Snap-on guy, I hope you watch this, Bryce, because the Snap-on guy will be like, hey man, you got any of these? I'm like, no, I've been a mechanic for 14 years. I don't need these. And he's like, nah, you need these. I'm like, why? He's like, because I got a good deal on them. And look, he worked because I have them unopened and they've been in there for like a year. I got more unopened stuff over here. Look at this. Brand new. Unopened. Probably got another one. Hold on. Where's my third one? Bam. Unopened. Brand new. Snap-on guy's a good salesman. Or maybe I'm just a pushover. Oh, this is my favorite tool for splitting dually rims. Half of all this stuff is just for working in stinking Rust Belt, Ohio. I bought this for splitting dually rear wheels. So you take this thing and you wedge it in between the dually rims, and then you take the biggest sledgehammer you can and wham, and you whack this and it cracks them open. And as every mechanic has, the cheater bar. This is cheater bar 1, and then this is my smaller cheater bar. This is cheater bar 2. Yeah, as long as you don't tell the Snap-on guy that you put a cheater bar on a 1/4 inch or 3/8 ratchet, then he'll warranty it forever. They cover it as long as it hasn't been misused or abused. This doesn't classify as either of those if they never know. Some miscellaneous, breaker bars and stuff. A lot of this came with this box. Chassis ears for finding suspension noises. You can hook them up to this, and then you hook up some headphones, and then you have someone else drive the truck. Kind of a cool tool. Don't use it too often, because usually when something's wore out on a 8,000, 9,000 pound truck, it gets pretty wore out pretty quick. And then the big guns is our biggest impact that we've got here, and we never use it because we don't work on any F650s or 750s, and the Milwaukee usually does the job. If the Milwaukee don't do the job, we grab the torch and turn it into a liquid. Oh, and my favorite drawer, the wrench drawer. Oh, look at that. Look at that shiny beautifulness. Now this is a big money drawer too. This is the Master Mac standard set. This is the double angled 4-angle Snap-on Master Jumbo set with the expansion set. Usually they only run, I think, to 7/8, but these got the expansion set there. Got some Cummins 7100 Bosch tools. I didn't have anywhere else to put them. Just picked these up not too long ago, actually. This is probably one of my new... That's missing. We'll fix that later. That's a problem. That is a problem.
Why?
Just because that needs to be there, and that stresses me out. Stinking kids working in my shop. Anytime we're missing something, we're like, we bet it's on David's cart. It's almost always on David's cart. It is not. So he's in the clear. I bet he knows where it's at though. Ask Jack. Anytime we're missing a socket, an extension, we just look at each other and we're like, David's cart, David's cart. And we come over here and it's sitting right here. Oh, let's watch it be on my cart. It's not that big a deal that it's missing. We'll continue the video. It just bothers me. Not important. That shall be found and returned. So that, I believe, concludes this box. Well, I'll just point out real quick, we're not going to go over everything on this rack, but this is some of the other like just specialty tools that we've got. Compression testers for your Duramax, Cummins, Powerstroke, all your diesel. We've also got the Master ball joint set, the Matco one, and the Snap-on one. We do a lot of Dodge front ends here. Those ball joints are really tricky. So this is the Snap-on one that we've used for years and years. Thing is solid as a rock, but is really difficult. They have this angle. See, that's not straight. They have that for the Dodge front ends, but Matco made this unit. Did not like it at first. Still have some beef with it, but we figured out how it works. So this one is just like a big C clamp with a screw. This one has a pivot, and you put the cups on the end and it, you bolt it out here, and it's super great for the Dodge front ends. Yeah, this just has a lot of our specialty tools, electronics, probe kit, power probe set. I saw a TikTok about it actually. It's a short open circuit finder. You hook up these leads, then you probe one end, and then you actually use this little wand and you can trace a circuit and it'll beep at the open up the harness, and boom, right there. We used it on a 2016 F350 a while ago. We had an issue with a starting harness, and it worked, paid for itself, on that job. Yeah, just a bunch of dial indicators, quick disconnect tools, bunch of like usable components, I guess we could call it. Battery terminal kits and grommets, and I could go for forever on all the junk we have over here. Induction heater for taking out cab mount bolts, bearing and race drivers, and fuel pressure test kits from Snap-on, and Mishimoto cooling pressure tester, Snap-on snap ring plier set, a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna stop there because there's so many different tool cases over there. We could go for forever. This is the OG top drawer box. Now for a while I was only working out of this box. I did not have a cart. I was at a shop up in New York when I originally got this box, and we were not allowed to have a roll cart. We were allowed to have one box or one cart, and we were allowed to have something like that roll around for just day-to-day jobs, that little tiny red one. So that's why I set this up. My top drawer was all vertical socket storage. So like these, I had all of these in here, all your basic service tools that you use working on trucks. I mean, nothing outrageously specialty in this drawer, I would say. I mean, yeah, I've got some Torx, Cummins barring tool, got my ARP stud bolts for 6.0, 6.064, 6.7 Powerstroke, front crank bolts, and rear. Oh, I do have the Duramax. This is the Duramax locking tool and the front crank socket. 7.3, 6.0, quick disconnect tools. I was wondering where this was. This has actually been really helpful, finding all sorts of stuff. Brake line bender. Yeah, I bought this special from Snap-on. This is a 12 mil for Ford drive shafts. And it fits perfectly in there to be able to just zip them all out with an impact. 12.14 mil for the older, I believe, second gen Dodge. And then I got a bunch of these. These are all 12.8 mil for all the, we used to do a lot of 7.3 EBPVs. That's why I had so many of these, because if anybody's done those before, those bolts are rusty and tight. They are a pain to remove when you're doing an EBPV on a 7.3. So then I also bought this, which is an 8 mil 5/16 extractor to go along with that. So that's why I've got so many of those. The rest of these are just general service tools I've accumulated over time. E-Torx, these are inverted Torx, 12 point shallow deep. Moving on to the next drawer we got. Now some of these are duplicates from that set, but I had these first, and then those came with the box. So I have double the amount of this set, double amount of this set, and then this I only have one set. I have a lot of extra extensions, and These are my like desperation extensions. They kind of just sit in there until I absolutely cannot find one in this drawer, because usually it's because David stole them. The stubby snap-ons. Now, the only thing I don't like about these are not very stubby. They're shorter than their regulars, but I wish they were a little shorter, because sometimes they are still difficult to get in tight spaces. Torque sticks. This is really the only one we use here at the shop, 140 foot-pounds. This is actually pretty cool. This is something that they don't really make anymore. These are called the Matco Special Forces, and they were interchangeable locking head for extra low profile. And so you could snap in like a, this is a 1/2-inch driver. And cool thing, you can have, like, let's say this is a, 22 mil, right? You're like, well, I could get a low profile socket like that, but check that out. You can go through like a stud. So let's say, oh boy. Just got a little worried there. Like, let's say you're running this dev bolt down. Well, a socket is only gonna make it so far before it bottoms out on that stud. And when you're trying to pull back all the force of that big old spring on that brake chamber, boom, it passes through. So it's super handy. Rarely use these in the shop, but I do love just my 1/2-inch. I will never get rid of this thing for just this one. 6.0 belt tensioners. Well, this is the actual tensioner tool. Useless, very difficult. Or you try and put a breaker bar in there, just very difficult and annoying. Yeah, this you can reach your hand down in, pop it on, and then you can very easily reach this in, and you just wiggle it around, and boom, drops right on. And then we've got our, not one, but we've got 2 zombie killer pry bars. That's what we call these. This is what we always called it at my dad's. My dad has what we call a zombie killer torque wrench. It is a 3/4 torque wrench. It wouldn't even fit in this drawer, and it's got its own case. The thing is so big, it's gotta be every bit of 6 foot tall. I mean, it's just massive. 800 foot-pounds of torque, like it's just insane. Then we have these are more actually specialty, because all my normal day-to-day wrenches, these are my more day-to-day wrenches, things that I use on this cheap Matco garbage. This Temu edition Matco, don't even have a name on it. 60 bucks for these hose. I don't like Matco, no offense, John, if you watch this. I had one that worked for years off of Amazon. It was like $9, free shipping, and it lasted me 4 years. So I said, you know what? A cheap, no-name brand lasted me 4 years. Let me buy a brand name one this time. This thing is absolute trash. I've had it for like 3 months, and it's already dull. The blade is like damaged and wore out. It can barely cut a rubber hose without me having to death grip the lifetime warranty though, so I'll see if they'll warranty it out. But we never buy stuff I don't buy stuff from Matco anymore anyway, because I don't like their products. So, but yeah, this is just all my daily stuff I use. Love these Snap-on 49 ACFs. Probably my favorite wrench. Loved them so much I bought a second one. Same exact wrench. And I loved them so much I bought the mini version. And I loved them so much I bought them in red. Great product right there. I love these pliers. Oh dude, they can grab hose clamps. So I have the actual hose clamp, Snap-on hose clamp tool here. Oh no, I didn't like them so much I put them on Jack's cart. Hold on. I call them the finger poppers, because you're trying to take the hose clamp off and then it pops out of the groove. Oh, these are them. Yeah, okay. So you guys, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. See how these have these like fine teeth on them? This one has these little divots and angles. So I lied to the internet. I don't have 4 sets of these. I got 3 sets. But this one is the one that I don't like. These were all the rage because they're like, oh, these you can grab a hose clamp. But a lot of these have spring clamps, and these were supposed to be designed where you could get them in here on this spring clamp, and it kind of like drops into this groove a little bit. And I have popped my finger so many times with these things because you go to pull it off and your hand's near it because you're pulling on the hose at the same time, and it pops out and blood blisters you because it pops you in the finger at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Love these. I like the teeth better on them, and they have a really wide bite to them. This set right here was one of my like first set of vice grip. I mean, these used to have teeth on them, and they are just absolutely war. Minor electrical repair. Whoa, that scratch was already there, I promise. You know, electrical repairs, basic electrical repair stuff. Got an electrical drawer over there. Cable cutter. I will tell you guys, useless tools. I thought these were gonna be cool. They're like an adjustable. Like this is your old school, you know, adjustable wrench. So I was like, you know what? These are basically you know, set of adjustable Nipex. You know, I'm like, this would be super handy. The range is so stinking tight. and they don't bite. There's no teeth on them either. And for some reason, like even you squeeze real hard on these, they still spread open. I actually never use them. Probably just gonna put them in here and see how nice complete sets look. That's why that one over there bothered me, because then you know you didn't lose a tool. Moving on to the next drawer. These were some of my original tools. Pittsburgh set, Craftsman set that I have then since replaced with Snap-on. 90% of my tools were Pittsburgh and Craftsman when I first started. The only thing I invested in were good quality ratchets. I was making like $10 an hour working for my dad, right? So spending $120 on a ratchet was a lot of money. And here it is. Oh yeah, it's still there. I was doing a starter on a 6-liter, and my dad was like, hey, don't forget to disconnect the battery. And me being a 17-year-old kid being an idiot was like, oh, it takes me 7 minutes. I don't need to disconnect the valve. I'll be careful. I mean, you can barely see it now, but I arced out and melted the handle on my brand new. That's where it arced out up against the frame or engine block and threw sparks everywhere. And it was just pure silence in the shop because my dad, I didn't listen to my dad, and he knew exactly what happened, and it was just pure silence. I literally rolled out from under the truck, stood up, disconnected the batteries, and went right back under the truck. Listen to your dads, people. These mountain wrenches are pretty nice. Only issue I had with it was this small 8mm, 10mm. When you put any sort of horsepower to them, any leverage on these, it rips the teeth right out of them. The bigger ones are so beefy that I've put some power through these things, and low profile, and they're pass through, but they're slightly offset too. So let's say you're trying to get in there like a 6.4 belt tensioner without pulling the whole fan and fan shroud out. You can slip this 15mm in there, boop, barely slide it on, crack it loose. Turns a 3-hour job into I can swap a belt tensioner on a 6.4 in 20 minutes. Single alternator truck, not a dual alternator truck. Those things suck. I have never used this set. Brand new. It's a master service set for drum brakes. Snap-on hose pick set. Multi-angle. It's a nice set there. Oh, this is a very nice tool for any of your Super Duty trucks. This is a Lyle set, and this set I've had for years. And basically this goes, put this on the end of an air hammer when you're trying to get a fan clutch off, and you can slip this down into this area right here. Usually there's a big old fan hub right here. You slip that onto there, and then you just go and it cracks it loose. Super handy. Usually what I used to use, I probably still have it in, yep, 6.0, 6.4, 6.7, 7.3. This is what I used to use. You can see how many times I've whacked that thing with a hammer. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I used to just slide this in there, and then when they really didn't want to come loose, so you start here, and then I would like to work my way up, and so bam. The reason I stopped doing it this way was because I don't know what I broke on a guy's truck, but I missed bad. Like because it was not wanting to come loose, and you get frustrated with stuff, so you hit it harder. That's the solution to everything. Get a bigger hammer. I'm up here, I'm just like, come on, break loose, and then I missed. I'm pretty sure I shattered his radiator. Bought the guy a new radiator, but then I was like, you know what? $100 Lyle tool kit is a lot cheaper than a $300 radiator. If there's a specialty tool that can make my job easier, save me time, and prevent me from breaking something, I'm gonna buy it. And that's why I have so much stuff. It's different for DIY guys. I would never encourage a DIY guy to go out and spend $50,000, $60,000 on tools to get a setup like this. It's just not necessary for you, but I'm doing this every day. Crank a lot of trucks out of the shop, and we wanna maintain a high quality. So I'm trying to find my best way to maintain my peak efficiency and get these trucks done in a timely manner. Random oversized taps. They're very wore out and old. Roll-lock disc and things of that sort. Miscellaneous specialty brushes. This is my OG IR, and it finally got a little wore out, so she's soon to be retired. Got the old Snap-on air hammer. Just got this thing like 2 weeks ago. All right, this is the torque wrench drawer, 3/8 and the 1/2 inch. This is my OG Cobalt. Funny quick story with this. It was a 6.0 head bolt, driver's side front. This one right here. So I'm torquing this one, cab on, and it slips, and I body blast my hand right into the cowl and just bam, blasted it. Next week, bought a Snap-on one because that hurt a lot. And I was like, I want to eliminate any possibility, not eliminate any possibility. I've had a Snap-on wrench slip on me. It's just a lot less often because of the design of the head and everything. So I retired the Cobalt, but unspoken rule, you don't throw tools away and you don't get rid of tools. So that's why it still sits in the drawer. Cool tool. Not many people know about these. Actually, both of these are pretty neat. Cooling system vacuum tool. So you hook up air to it. It uses a venturi to suck down the whole system. And then you have your 5-gallon bucket up on your battery and you flip this valve and it fills the entire cooling system without you having to dump anything. And on the newer trucks, it purges all the air for you. So you don't have to sit there and try and burp the truck to get all the air out of the system. This is also another cool tool. This is called a impact driver. Now many people know this as an impact driver because it's got hammers in it. So when you have it on a bolt, it's got the hammers that help break things free. Now, more missing sockets. What is up with this stuff? I just don't know if many people know about these. Let's say you have a really rusty bolt and the head is slightly stripped or something, and you want to have a little bit more delicate, careful extraction. Well, you can put this on there. Like right now, it's tight, but with a tap, and it breaks it loose. No idea how it works. I was about to try and explain how it works. No idea, but I just want to share that because I think it's a pretty cool tool. Okay, we got our seal install tools. These are extractors and installers for your 6.7 Powerstroke, 6.0 Powerstroke, Cummins, 7.3. Also have some axle nut sockets and then a 3/4 set. It's kind of in shambles right now. 2nd gen front axle seal install set. These are fantastic for if you're even doing DIY. You can pick up a knockoff cheap version of this to make sure that when you're installing your front crank seal, rear main seal, that it stays perfectly true. So many guys, I'll see them like whacking them in, tapping them in with a hammer to try and install your rear main front crank seal. It's not going to be perfectly straight. It's going to leak. Might not leak right away. Maybe 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles, you get a little drip, or you just get some seepage. These are very important. Also for 6.7 Powerstroke, you absolutely cannot install a 6.7 Powerstroke front crank seal or a rear main seal without the specialty tool. So like this is the depth that the seal has to be into the rear cover. There's no way you're gonna measure and guess that. I mean, there's no spec on this. You just use the tool and install it. 6.4 front crank seal, 7.3 front crank seal, remover and installer, seal tools, extensions. These are nice for running radios and shift on the fly switches on trucks. This is a bunch of just specialty random tools. This is a 12 valve Cummins valve spring tool to do them without pulling the head. IPR pressure tester kit, bunch of feeler gauges for running your valve lash on your Cummins trucks. ICP testing tools for 6.0s. And this is our electrical repair drawer, some fuses. We use a lot of these. We do solder some connections, but 99% your connectors are going to get a butt connector. Check a circuit with this versus soldering. Exactly the same resistance. If you're doing a lot of electrical repair, these are your friend. They're watertight, easy to work with. I've repaired bad soldering jobs with these butt connectors because people don't know how to solder. They don't know you got to get to soak into the wire. They just put a blob on top of 2 wires and call it good. And then Milwaukee cutting drawer. This is a real nice tool. This is a 5-inch bandsaw, great for exhaust, and it cuts fast. It can cut a full 5-inch exhaust pipe. Fantastic for working on these diesels if you're running 5-inch exhausts on your Cummins trucks, Powerstroke trucks. 5-inch exhaust is the way to go. More controlled and cleaner than a Sawzall. Only downside, you can't get it up underneath the truck. It does not like to stay straight when you're trying to cut. So if you're trying to cut something straight because you need to weld a butt, flange together, don't use this. So that's when I use the chop saw in the other room because you can cut it perfect. I think that covers this whole box, don't it? Now, this is my everyday service cart. Covered some of the stuff I've got. My Snap-on pry bars, Snap-on picks, more Snap-on picks, different angle picks and different lengths. Snap-on door panel tools. In any modern diesel truck, you have a million plastic tools. Then you get into the smaller plastic clips, and so I got this one, which is a little baby version. You got the mother and the baby. And these are my everyday, my long Snap-on 3/8, my regular 3/8. I love hard handle. Someone tried getting me on the soft handle kick. I actually bought a full set of Snap-on soft handle and ended up on Jack's cart because I hated them so much because they do crap like that. and they don't warranty the handle. Well, 2 reasons. You can't put them in storage like this. You can't put them in the vertical storage, and I like to have quick, easy access. If I can prevent having to open a drawer to save me time, everything I do is just to save me time. And that's why I was like, I just want to be able to, boom, got my ratchet, boom, done with it, drop it back. Only ones I don't put up here are my 1/4 inch. And I'm not gonna actually demonstrate what happens. Someone else is working out of your cart, new guy comes in the shop, or somebody else borrows your 1/4 inch ratchet real quick, it will fit right through the hole. And they don't know where it's supposed to go. And I've lost many of these and had gone fishing with a magnet to get them back. So that's why 1/4 inch drawer right there. I'll show you all my 1/4 inch ratchets. Oh, this is a new one. This is not a 1/4 inch. Boom. 3/8 stubby. This was a very popular requested one from Snap-on. I want everybody in the comments to guess how much this thing is. 1/4 inch stops at 15 mil. So if you got a 17 mil and you're just like can barely get your hand in there, that's why I wanted something like this. And then they finally released one. But I got my 1/4 inch regular length fixed handle. This is a long handle. 1/4 inch. And then I got my locking head, locking flex. So this one doesn't pivot unless you pull the lever back, fix it in a certain position, than my standard regular one. So each one is different, actually, even though I have 6 of them. Everyone serves a purpose. Then my various extensions. And I keep a lot of my specialty tools in here. Homemade ICP tool for 0360s. ICP on an 03, very difficult to access. Made this tool years ago. I can swap an ICP out on an 03 truck in like 15 minutes. If you don't believe me, I'll make a video about it. IPR though on an 03, not happening in 15 minutes. I'll tell you that much. I'm pulling the intake manifold and you're getting charged 4 hours because it's not easy to get to. ICP, 15 minutes, but you're still gonna get charged 2 hours. Fight me about it, because you're gonna have to take 6 hours to do it, so you're still getting a better deal. Paying for experience. 6.0 injector tool, very handy. Amazon, 20 bucks. You DIY guys are the death of me. You come in and you're like, I just tried doing my own injectors. There's a truck right there. Just tried working on it himself outside, and guess what? Ends up at the shop. Guys will try to use a socket or a flathead screwdriver, and they always break these stinking injector clips on the injector side. On the inside, there's 4 clips, tabs that hold the injector harness through the rocker box. Just buy this tool. It's tapered. You slide it over the top of this. Very nice tool to have for your 6.0 enthusiast. Don't know anybody that makes this tool though. This is the Nate Smith's special that I made myself. General service set for my everyday Blue Point wrenches, Snap-on, standard set with the expansion set there. General punch set, got another set over there. My impact Milwaukee drawer, got my 3/8 600 foot-pound, 3/8 250 foot-pound, my right angle 250 foot-pound, 3/8 drive, also have a right angle 250 foot-pound, 1/2 inch drive, variable speed die grinder, which is very nice for electric. Big impact we talked about earlier. This is the Gen 3 Milwaukee. Got one of those new Forge batteries, love it. This is a recent addition, 1/4 inch drive Milwaukee fuel, high speed. I don't like using impacts to run bolts in because guys get a little too crazy. You hold it for 1/2 second too long on a trans pan. You know, this just has more control, so you less chance of breaking a bolt. You know, someone might yell at me saying, well, you should do it all by hand. You want me to build every single truck with a ratchet? Your truck's never getting done. I'm gonna tell you that much. You know, it's all about how you use the tool. Am I gonna put an oil pan bolt on with this? No, of course not. And just miscellaneous tools here, tire repair, some extra ones that don't fit in this set. Well, this is technically a cotter pin tool. Fantastic tool. I'll give you guys the part number, SGCP1B. Really nice for 6.0 and 6.4 and 7.3. And the E4OD, which is the O-body style 7.3. Transmission filter gasket that gets stuck up in the hole. You don't want to scratch it, so you can get this up in there and just barely hook it, pull it out. That's mainly what I use this for, actually. Something else, I think we made a video about this a while ago, the Cummins oil filter tool for the 5th gen, 4th gen trucks. Very nice for not making a massive mess on your 5th gen, 4th gen trucks, 2013 and up, because you can't get them out the bottom anymore. Last but not least, the bottom drawer, which is just hammers, and a tire inflator. That's pretty much sums it up. As far as the toolbox tour, we've got a bunch of other miscellaneous equipment. We've got some nice welders. We got a TIG welder for aluminum and stainless, sheet metal, things of that sort. our chop saw over there on the other side. A lot of other miscellaneous testing tools here, battery chargers, oxyacetylene torch, Milwaukee wall over there, my charging rack. Built that just from a pegboard from Lowe's. Snap-on AC machine, different lights and stuff. We like these little Snap-on magnet lights. Really nice, strong magnets. Last part of the toolbox tour, we can show you guys our diagnostics and programming setup, everything that we've got here at the shop. Easy Link, programming tool, HP tuners, unlock tool. We've got a Snap-on Zeus Plus, good to 2025 truck. So we did just pick this up not too long ago. This is good to 2017. This is just a quick, easy, diagnostics if this one's in use. We've got 2 EFI Lives, one for Duramax and one for fire pump tuning. This one is set up with the Ford Motorcraft VCM3, which is the FDRS and IDS. It's a subscription basis, but this is the genuine OEM Ford Diagnostics and programming. So when we have a brand new PCM or a body control module or any module on any truck up to 2025, we can program and install it here at the shop. We currently do not have anything that can do Dodge new module installation. So that's the only thing we have to outsource, and the Chevrolet TCM programming and ECM programming for new module installation. Reflashes we can do here. We can't do new module installation on the GM or Dodge trucks. We're working on it, but they don't play nice with others. So that's what we've got as far as our electronics repertoire. Battery rack, battery station. I don't know if you guys online have seen these Nocos. This can jump a completely dead ice cold 6-liter Powerstroke. This thing draws so much juice it melted the plastic off the end of this clip. But that is pretty much the end of the Smith's Diesel Toolbox tour. I think that just about covers everything we've got. I do have a lot more specialty sockets and tools, but I'm not going to go one by one. We are going to be moving into getting some more machining tools, dial indicators and scopes. We're going to start rebuilding our own differentials here in-house. Transmissions are coming soon. I'd say end of 2026. We're going to start rebuilding our own transmissions here in-house. We currently don't ship anything out. Like if you want a built engine or you want some heads or anything, we don't have any drop shipping. We wouldn't build this whole motor, transmissions, differentials. We want to have all the specialty tools to do so and make sure you're getting a quality repair, that it's getting done right. And that's why we don't ship things out. We like to be able to get this engine fired up. We're gonna put 300 to 500 miles on it before we give it back to the customer, make sure it's good to go, give it back to the customer. We've had some trucks shipped in or dropped off from long distances. We take care of them, make sure it's good, and they make their ride home. We just had a truck from North Carolina up here not too long ago for a bulletproof, and we made sure to put a lot of miles on the truck, and we did come across 1 or 2 issues with that specific truck, and we're glad we found them before the customer made his long ride home. That's why currently we're not going to be shipping transmissions out if we start building them until we have the specialty tooling to test it, make sure it's good before you receive it. But it all comes back around to what's in the toolbox. It's not necessarily about the toolbox itself. I mean, yeah, Snap-on's nice, Snap-on's cool. I love Snap-on products, but you could have all these tools and do the job just as well out of a, Icon box. Yeah, that pretty much closes out our shop toolbox tour. The parts or the equipment and tools that we've got here at the shop to complete the job on your Super Duty, your Cummins, your Duramax. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel and watching all of our content. Be sure to drop a comment, or you can follow us on our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We've got all our pages too. We post twice a day during the week, and you can see some of the other things that we do with these tools, some of the cool builds that we get to put together, and some of our own trucks. We've got a lot of cool stuff that's going to be happening this winter. The 5th gen and 3rd gen, they're going to be getting some upgrades. We're going to get the burnout truck dialed in, and of course race truck is coming back bigger and badder than ever, and we've got some exciting things in the works for that. We'll have some more videos out about it in the future. Yeah, again, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.